Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this session about coaching. Let me see. There's already 5 participants, so welcome everyone this morning. Welcome to this session about coaching. So let me. I'm joined here by my colleague Michiel. He is here for any technical support. Let me start off by giving a small and short introduction of myself, who I am, what I do, maybe about my experience. And then I would like to continue to make a small inventarization of any questions, any topics that you would like me to discuss, or any questions that you have regarding these topics. And then let's see how we can make the best of coming, 29 minutes. Okay. So let me share a small slide with a little bit background information. Over here. Yeah. So guys, my name is Rob van Gorkom. I live in the middle of the Netherlands in Driebergen. I'm married, I have 1 son, and I am a lean trainer. I'm a lean consultant. I'm also a lean, or I am basically sometimes an interim manager, because it's easy to tell people how to apply lean, but it's getting harder whenever you have to apply it for yourself. So that's my maybe personal coaching and development, is also push myself by trying to apply. So whenever you are in a position of my clients. I've been at the Lean Institute since 2012, so for more than 30 years at the moment, and I've seen many clients. At the moment, my clients are, for example, maybe some of you saw yesterday this presentation by the Dutch government real estate agency. It's the agency that's responsible for the maintenance and building of all government buildings in the Netherlands. Big project, which we try to help this organization to make a move from a functional organization towards a process or more value stream organized organization. Very interesting stuff, what's happening over there, exciting stuff. I do work for years already within or with the Crocs company, and especially in the supply chain and distribution sector and the distribution centers. At the moment, I'm working with the team in Dayton, Ohio, and training the people in problem solving, but also in continuous improvement, and in doing so, working towards process improvement. I'm currently working for a construction company, installing an operational management system using visuals and having proper discussions with each other to have a better grasp of what needs to be done on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis in order to be successful and deliver some customer value. I do coach a high-tech company in their process development area. I teach, or not teach, but I coach the senior project management team to do so. I'm not allowed to share the name of this company. And then I do some Kaizen weeks. I recently finished a Kaizen week in a machine manufacturer, but also a Kaizen week in the process industry. So I do think I do have a broad experience over industries, but also a broad experience in the different applications of the lean philosophy, methods, and techniques. And I truly do hope that with this background, I can be of any value for you guys today. So I will stop the sharing again, and I would like to go to the questions and answers and do a small inventarization of the questions that you want me to dwell upon in the next 25 minutes. So let me try to see what's happening here.
No questions have yet been asked, Rob. Okay. Nobody has put in a question yet, so, okay. So we currently encourage you to do so.
a coach is very effective whenever there is something to coach, and especially if I can be of any help towards your questions that you will run into from your experience. So please, everyone, I can imagine that it might not be that comfortable to have a specific question that's relating to your own organization or own situation, because that's not to be shared with each and every one. In that case, I would like to invite you to send us a chat towards the host and panel members, in which you can state your question, but also please your email or phone number, and we will reach out to you afterwards, and we gladly we will share our advice or coaching whenever that's relevant for you. But then there will be coaching for someone who's still not willing to share with other people. But then again, guys, any questions that you are struggling with? There's someone over here,
yes.
and that's, I couldn't see that one. Michiel, could you please help me out?
Yes. Hi, Rob. How do you see the use of AI in food-related production? I know that you've done a project in a bakery some time ago.
Okay, so there's AI. I will
Yes.
and AI
In a food-related production area. Yes.
Any more questions, guys?
For the process industry, which element would you start when introducing Lean? How would you convince management for introducing Lean in the process industry?
Could you please show it again, Michiel?
Yes, okay. So for the process industry, which element would you start when introducing Lean?
Okay.
And how would you convince management for introducing Lean in the industry?
Okay. All right.
Yes. And then there's another one from
Yes.
Emil. What do you believe is the biggest difference and what is important to think on between implementing lean thinking and wow into a retail environment compared to a production company? What do you believe is the biggest difference and what is important to think on between implementing lean thinking and WOW in a retail environment compared to a production company?
Retail versus
Production.
Okay. All right. So we have three questions, as I understand. There's artificial intelligence, or the use of artificial intelligence in food-related industry, process industry, how to start in the process industry, and also how to convince senior management. So that's an interesting one. And there's also the implementation of lean thinking. And I didn't get a certain abbreviation, but I do think the interest is like, is there a difference between retail, and what is then the biggest difference between applying lean thinking tools and practices in a retail surrounding versus production surrounding? Okay, so I'm also buying my. Okay, thanks, Emil, for the heads up. Okay, so three basic questions. Let me start with the second question about the process industry. And well, the one part is where to start, and the other part is how to convince. So it's basically two questions. What I would like to do, because I do not really think there is one answer to, and that has nothing to do with the process industry or any other industry. But the main question is, where do we start when you will start with Lean? So I do have more or less expected this one a little bit. So we do have a certain model that we apply, that we live by as coaches at the Lean Global Network. And I do have a small video that might be very interesting as a guideline for each and every one of you whenever you approach how to go about this. So I will share this video. It's a video of 7 minutes, truly, interesting. And then I will reflect and come back to your question. Okay. So let's share again.
Yes.
So there's John Shook on the Lean Transformation Framework, and I will start the video just now. And it's basically about how to go about transformation, how to go about Lean improvement in general. Oh, that didn't work well.
Here at the Lean Enterprise Institute, we think a lot about change. We think a lot about enterprise transformation. Every day, all day, each of us aspires to create desired change. That's what work is all about. Enterprise transformation, then, is change on the enterprise level. We've learned a lot over the years, and we have learned that effective enterprise transformation requires change, innovative improvement on 5 dimensions. That is a bold assertion. Not 4, not 6, but 5 dimensions. And Lean thinking has a point of view about each of those 5 dimensions. We're not going to go deeply into what those points of view are right now. What we will do is explore the essential matter of how to think about enterprise change through the illustration of a house. The metaphor of a house has been around Lean thinking for a long time, so we'll use that for convenience. Let's start with the roof to explore it. Any good house has to have a roof to protect us from the rain, sleet, and maybe excessive sunshine, if there could be such a thing. At the top of this house, we're going to have our objectives, our goals, our aspirations. In other words, we're going to be asking a question, which is, what is our value-driven purpose? Why are we here as a company, as an enterprise? It may be that we think we're here just to generate money. That would take us down a certain path, in which case I may care less about value and may care just about profit. Lean thinking drives us to think about what value are we creating for customers, for society, for employees. What is our value-driven purpose? Since it starts with a question like that, that means our approach to effective transformation is going to be situational. It's a situational approach determined by first asking the question, what is our value-driven purpose? And more specifically, each individual in your organization needs to be able to ask and answer, what problem am I here to solve? What problems are we each trying to solve? The next question to ask is, what is the work to be done? What is the work? Any house has to have walls, or we could say pillars, to hold up the roof. This first pillar represents the work to be done. We can call it process. What is the process by which we're going to accomplish our purpose? If our purpose is to create videos, then we have to know how to get a video camera, then set it up so that we have the proper lights so we can actually get the work done. Then, as we gain experience, we'll doubtless find that there are problems in the work, that the work needs to be improved. So we need some means by which we go about process improvement, improving the work to be done. Always starting with the work. What is the work to be done? So now that I've identified the work that's going to solve the problem, to deliver the value that we're here to provide, that's the first pillar to hold up the roof. The roof is not going to be held up with only one pillar. We have to have another. And we're going to call this one capability. This pillar is understood by asking the question, what capabilities do we need to do the work, to solve the problem, to fulfill our purpose? Capability building then comprises the other pillar, the second pillar. With these 2 pillars, now I have something holding up my roof, so it starts to look like a house. But any house is only a house until it's a home. It becomes a home by the behavior of the people living in it. The person is inside, not outside, so protected, comforted by the house, but also the dynamic that brings the house to life to make it into a home. There are two aspects to that we want to think about here. One is the management system that I can define that will support the development of building capabilities to do the work, to fulfill the purpose. Also, the behaviors, the soft skills that are required of leaders and everyone for us to be able to work effectively in this management system to build the capability to do the work to fulfill the purpose. So we need to define those soft skills, those behaviors. For example, how might I respond as a leader when one of my employees, one of my team members, has a problem or has made a mistake? Do I get angry? Do I throw things? Or do I seek to understand the reason why so I can take away the barriers that are in the way of that employee being successful? The management system, then, is something I can define just as I define a mechanical device. Let's say, for example, we'll meet every morning in a huddle at 8 o'clock. We'll meet again before lunch to see how the day has gone so far. We'll have weekly meetings to really assess and determine our plans for the week. We'll meet monthly to see how we're doing against our annual plan, and annually we'll develop a plan that will take our organization further towards achieving our defined purpose. This then is something that can be defined mechanically, the management system, and then the behaviors, the leader behaviors and the teamwork behaviors of everyone are those soft skills that fit in and bring this overall system to life. And one more dimension to our enterprise transformation model, and that is underneath all of this, there's a basic thinking, a mindset or underlying assumptions that inform everything we do, that inform all of our activities as we attempt to achieve our purpose. Basic thinking, and a couple of other words that I'll use interchangeably here with basic thinking, mindset or underlying assumptions. Assumptions can be of two types really, explicit assumptions that we articulate and hidden underlying assumptions that we're not aware of on a moment-to-moment basis. These are the underlying assumptions that comprise our culture, our current culture as it exists today, and our ideal culture that we aspire to. Understanding that will give us a gap to close, just as we will be able to identify gaps in other parts of our enterprise performance as we solve problems day to day. So altogether, these are things that need to be addressed, and around each of these I can ask some simple questions. What problem are we trying to solve? What purpose are we trying to achieve? What is the work to be done? How will I go about improving it? What capabilities are required, and how will I grow them? What management system can I define? And what behaviors are required to build the capabilities, to do the work, to solve the problem that we're here to solve. And underneath it all is the matter of addressing what is our basic thinking. What do we currently think, for example, about cause and effect? How is that thinking currently comprised in our culture, and how does that affect the kind of culture that we want to create? These dimensions addressed lead us toward effective enterprise transformation. If we leave any of these out, we'll fail. So the Lean transformation model is a situational approach because there is no perfect 10-step program to the perfect Lean transformation. Each situation is unique and demands its own unique set of countermeasures. With the questions on the 5 dimensions, however, we can each map out our own transformation, one that solves our specific situational problems to achieve our own unique purpose. Good luck on your own journey.
Thank you so much, John. With this, this video, by the way, is online available. But coming back to where to start in the process industry, well, honestly, I can't tell you because it does have it is really where your company at the moment is and what is your situational approach. So also, if we take this this other basic same lean transformation framework, I guess it's about answering the questions. Do you in the first place, do you have a proper answer together with your management team about the value-driven purpose, but also the problems related to the value-driven purpose? Do you have a proper answer to your process improvement or the the work that needs to be done and how it's going to be done, and the capabilities that you need or lack at the moment, etc., etc. So, as a coach, I would advise you to take these 5 steps and try to answer them for yourself and possibly with your management team. That brings me to your second question about convincing. Well, I'm not sure whether you can convince someone as a coach, as a consultant. I do think I stopped convincing people. I do think the convincing is going to be done by someone, him or herself. However, I would strongly believe as long as you're capable of helping people see what their problem is, then there starts to be a ground for conviction and also to listen towards possible countermeasure, possible solutions. What then might help if someone is accepting that we do have a problem, and possibly you should be very quantifiable on this one, but if they accept we do have a problem, then one of the ways is maybe use a simulation. Could be very simple, could also be a process-oriented simulations. We do have those, by the way, that might give them an additional insight what Lean could do to help solve this problem. So that would be my my first answer to your question. I also want to dwell upon another one, and that is basically a question that comes back again and again. In this specific case, one of you asked, is there, when we implement lean thinking, is there a difference, or what are the major differences between retail and production? In all honesty, I don't think there's really any difference whatsoever. I've been assisting a supermarket chain for over a year, and basically what it all comes down to is always go back to customer value. What is the customer value? What's our purpose that we want to achieve? And when you understand, and basically that's the biggest problem, but also in production, is always the problem, what is the value that we need to create? And if that's clear, then it always boils down to the same process analysis again and again and again. So, but it's not only related to retail, it's also related to government, it's also related to manufacturing, well, that is industry. Honestly, I don't see a difference. The difference is maybe in your head, but if you really look into it, there's a product to be made, and the product is built by processes, and the processes are built by people. And especially in retail, the product that's being built is very, very visible, as is in production. So I would think go first and look for yourself and really ask what are the true physical or tangible differences. And I would challenge you, there are none. And if you're at that stage, you can apply all lean methods and techniques and go about. Of course, that does not mean when you train people that you should that all your examples should go back to the Toyota Corporation. If you train in government, you better do not talk about industry with your examples, because that will put people off the mark. So that would be my advice. I don't see any difference. When you do imply, do make sure that your examples will be retail related, will be product development related, will be government related. And that might give you some additional thinking to do. I'm more than happy to help you out in that sense. Let me check on time. So we are still 5 minutes. So let me get back on AI. I believe there's already Michiel is way better on the AI topic as it is. Maybe for everyone, I do think we should make sure that AI does have multiple faces, especially lately. AI is often, as I understand, um, seen as the large language models. And in all honesty, I don't think that the large language models are like the ChatGPT are especially um, um, helpful in optimizing your processes. And whether that's in food or in other industries, I don't think there is a strong support there, especially in production processes. However, if we apply machine learning and if we apply information and all kind of data to recognize certain situations and apply that. But I believe also Michiel already made the same remarks in that regard. That's my vision currently, what I do understand. But it's not my core appetite. I would feel more comfortable with the two answers I just gave about convincing. Starts with making sure that people accept and do have a proper view on their own problem, and then they probably will also be more prone to open up towards lean. Maybe you shouldn't use the word lean. Maybe you should do a small simulation with each other and see the parallels. But I would go from there. Next to that, in general, where to start with the lean transformation framework, answer the 5 questions, and based on the biggest issues you see surface over there, start there. In the end, you need to work on your value-driven purpose. You need to work on process improvement, on capability development, on your management system, and on your basic thinking. But start at one specific area where at the moment, the trouble for your organization is the biggest. And you go from there. I don't believe there are significant or fundamental changes between different industries. And it starts as a coach, or it starts with accepting that and seeing and understanding customer value, processes, and the role of people in your processes. And then it always comes down that the lean principles apply in the same way. However, you need your examples from your own industry, because if you use examples from industry, from Toyota or from whatever other business, then you basically force people to answer that question themselves, and that is probably a very difficult step for them to take. So you should make that step. But then I don't think there is a fundamental change. Probably we are more or less towards the end of this session.
Yes, almost. Yeah.
I do hope that I could share a little bit towards you guys. It might not necessarily be the question or the answers that you wished for, but I truly do believe that the pointers I gave are the pointers to go by. So thank you so very much. And if there's open questions, we will get back to you later if you leave your address or your phone number, and try to help you there. Thank you so much, and hope to see you soon.
Work, Rob. Yes, I see a couple of people sharing their email address. I believe there's a few that I do not have yet. Please, if you are unable to share it in the chat in time, you can send an email to info@leaninstitute.nl to share your information with us. We will get back to you on short notice. I see your email, Sean. I see your email, Eric. So those are written down. I have your questions, so we will get back to you on short notice. Thanks, everybody. I think we have to leave, Rob.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Have a good
Bye,
day.
Erik.
Bye-bye.